And so, yeah, this is episode one. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about beliefs and specifically the only belief that matters. Before we do that, I wanted to talk about how, like, the structure of this episode. So, this is going to be called the bus ride episode. But yeah, this is the bus ride episode. And like I said, 20 to 30 minutes. And this is perfect for people who are, if it's after school, if it's after work, before school, before work, maybe you're at the bus, maybe you're at a train, maybe you're on a plane, maybe you're just waiting for something or doing a quick thing. This is perfect because this takes basically 20 to 30 minutes. And so, yeah, this is a quick one. And yeah, so before we get in, I just wanted to give a shout out to someone who's named Tom Bilyeu, and he basically taught me this idea of beliefs. And he talks about, like I'm going to talk about in this episode, the only belief that matters. And so he talks about the concept of why is it so difficult for people to change. And he talks about the biggest thing is people don't believe that it's possible to change. People don't believe that it's possible to grow. People believe that, or for many people, including myself before, that you were either talented or you just didn't have that talent or that skill that you needed to grow or to get some kind of success. And so the biggest realization I had when, I think it was like a couple of years ago, where I just realized that I wasn't talented. I wasn't very skillful, and I realized that I'm just average. I'm not better. I'm not, and I'm maybe like hopelessly average. And so that realization can sound very tough or hard or yeah, kind of grueling. But that this gave me kind of leeway for I didn't have to protect my ego around being talented. And so, yeah, this notion of that I'm better than other people is kind of playing the wrong game. Because, for example, if you say you play some kind of sport, for me it was soccer, and I believed that I was talented. And if that belief was like firmly in my subconscious, that really made me believe that I was talented and that I'm good at playing soccer. And for sure it helped. I was playing pretty good for a couple of years, but then the tricky part is if you fail or you have a bad game, that really affects that belief, because then you believe that, oh, maybe I'm not talented. And so yeah, this is playing the wrong game. It's like if you believe that you're either good or not good. And so there's no leeway for adaptation. And so yeah, believing that you're hopelessly average and gives you the leeway to grow. And so the average human can grow. It's like, look around, everybody, and like the biggest factor for humans to grow above other species is our ability to adapt and grow. And then it goes from being to becoming. It's about becoming better and not being better. And so this is really, I would say, one of the most important beliefs that you can start out with, because if the game is about becoming better and not being better, then you say, oh, I can do certain things to get certain skills, and those skills have utility. And so to kind of summarize the whole belief is, if you put time and energy into getting better at something, you will actually get better at that thing. This is true for every human. It's the only belief that matters, because behaviors follow beliefs. And this is so true, because if you believe that that it's possible to become better at something, your actions will map those beliefs. And so this is why it's super important, and why you hear all the time about the law of attraction, for example. But the tricky thing for people with law of attraction is they just believe that, oh, I can kind of believe that it's possible to grow. And I would say the thing that most people get wrong with the law of attraction is they don't feel the thing that they want before it happens. And because, for example, let's say you want to get in great shape. People think that, oh, I'm just going to attract being in a great shape. But if you feel the enjoyment and the happiness you would get from both, in terms of like having a lot of energy and inspiring maybe your family to get in better shape, and also seeing the pride and the enjoyment of having that great physique, that's going to motivate just a lot more than just thinking, I just want to be in better shape. And so, yeah, believing that my efforts and actions will be rewarded with skills, and believing that those skills have utility, is basically the only belief that matters. And so, yeah, you can, and a great book I would recommend to read around this concept is Mindset with Carol S. Dweck. I read this, and she talks about the difference between having a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. And basically, the fixed mindset is believing that you're talented or you're not, or you're good at something or you're not. And the growth mindset says you're able or willing to learn and adapt and grow. So I would highly recommend people to read that book if you're interested in this concept of, if you believe that beliefs are important, and if you're interested in getting better at anything. I would say just start with this, because people get told by so many people that, oh, you shouldn't do that thing, or you shouldn't try it. You should be either, because people think that like athletes are just, oh, they're just talented. Same with like artists, they're just talented at doing that thing. Maybe some are. Maybe it's true for some people that they're naturally gifted at something. But like compare, for example, an athlete like Ronaldo and Messi. Like Messi, people tell that Messi is just talented, and yeah, he's super talented. But then you look at Ronaldo's and you see just the raw fucking the power of doing something over and over and over again. He works out 3 times a day, I think, and he's just super strict with his diet and what he consumes. He doesn't let his kids have chocolate and soda. Or he does, but like he gives them the look when they do. And so, yeah, you just see the difference between work ethic and not having that work ethic. And so believing that, okay, I'm able and I have the abilities to be able to grow and adapt and be better at something. And then that can be anything. That can be with work, that can be with health, that can be with, because for example, with health, if you don't believe that you are able to grow or be better at something, then, for example, for me, I believe that genetics was the basically ultimate factor for having a great physique. And maybe, yeah, that's true to some extent, but everybody can get in a fucking better shape. It's like, yeah. And so for my sake, I used that excuse for so long. I was like, I'm just naturally not I don't have the genetics, and I don't have the physique that my friends have. And so, yeah, that can really hurt your progress if you use talent as an excuse to not take action. Because if you just do something that you enjoy more, you're just going to become better. Like, say for anything you like. My guess is you're better at that thing than most people. You're better than at that certain field than most people. And why is that? Because you like to do that thing, and you're going to do it more and more and more. And so that can be with anything. That can be with video games, with working out, with singing. It doesn't really matter. It's just like and so this is the other thing, is like, if you don't like the thing you're doing, change it up. Do something different. It's like, it's actually clever and smart to do things you enjoy, because you're gonna just do it more. So for example, if you have Bob, he plays soccer, and Bob doesn't enjoy playing soccer. He gets told by his parents that he should play soccer, and then you have Carl, and he loves playing soccer, and he plays soccer all the fucking time. He plays 6 hours, 7 hours, and outside of the set workout schedule for the team. And so who do you think is going to be better? Even if Bob has more talent, Carl is going to be more talented after years, because he's just going to do it more. And that is really important to kind of understand that, oh, if I don't like the thing, I'm not going to do it as much. I'm not going to enjoy it, and I'm not going to do it as much. And so the third topic that I wanted to touch upon is comparison, because this also can really hurt your progress and really hurt your understanding of what progress actually is. Because if you compare yourself to, say, for example, I always like to use this example with health, because it's so, like, you can see it and it's very external. If you're working out and one guy, he gets great results, and the other guy doesn't get great results, maybe he loses 1 kilo and the other guy loses 5 kilo. The one guy lost 1 kilo, and so he got better, but he feels bad about it because the other guy lost 5. And so be very mindful with the making unfair comparisons. And so I would say the only fair comparison you can make is the one is yourself to yourself yesterday. And I really like this, because if you make those unfair comparisons, you say, for example, you compare yourself, a 22-year-old, with another 22-year-old who has a lot of money, or he has a lot of external success, he has cars, he has houses, he makes a lot of money, and you don't. The thing is, like, you maybe have shit he has, and you maybe have shit he doesn't have. And that in terms of both family and health, with anything. And so, and social media plays a huge part of this, because if you, for example, if you eat a meal that tastes really good, but then you see a different meal on the other side of the world created by Michelin star chefs, you're going to feel bad about the meal you're eating. And so it doesn't really matter what meal you eat, because all the other meals are going to be better. There's always going to be a person who has more or who has something better than you. And so be very mindful on that. And yeah, so imagine, for example, a world before social media. You did not see what everybody else was doing. You didn't see the kind of social activities. You didn't see the places they were traveling. You didn't see... And people just liked and enjoyed the things they had, and they enjoyed the things that they already had. And so I really like the quote, "Comparison is the thief of joy." And so the practical advice I would give around this is just limit the amount of social media you consume, and focus on just being a little bit better than yesterday. Just 1%. Just do one thing that you didn't do yesterday. And that can be with eating better. That can be with working something something you know you should be working on. So yeah, just do one thing that you didn't do yesterday, and just focusing on that. And I would also highly recommend journaling, because I've had this experience. If, say, for example, you work at something for a couple of months, and then you don't feel like you see the results. You don't feel like, oh, have I really made progress, or haven't I made progress? And so journaling can be a very great tool to actually see the differences you've made, and see kind of like your mindset shifts. Because then if you write down your thoughts and beliefs, you're going to see that a year or 2 years later, and you're going to be, holy shit, something has changed. But if you didn't write those things, you were like, maybe I'm the same, maybe I'm not. It's the same with, for example, with working out and health. If you document and track your progress, your weight, and you take pictures, I would just recommend doing that. Just take a lot of pictures and see, oh, I've changed there, I've changed this, I've lifted a little bit more. But if you don't document it, you're not going to know if you got better. And so, yeah, those two things: limit social media and watch your comparisons. And also, like, just do different stuff than social media. Like, I don't think anyone is going to be 80 and regret that they didn't spend more time on social media, on TikTok or Instagram or something else. So, yeah, just limit. But if you enjoy it, like I would say, just spend some time of it. But then, just if you feel like, oh, you feel bad about comparing yourself, then I would say that's a huge factor. And so, yeah. And the last thing that I wanted to add upon is something Tony Robbins talks about. And he talks about the only thing standing between you and your goal is a story you keep telling yourself as to why you can't achieve it. And this is the thing with the stories, with what we tell ourselves around a certain thing that limit the thing that we could have achieved. And so be very mindful on kind of the stories, because if you tell a story enough times to yourself, that makes it true. Even if it's a lie, even if it's false, you're going to believe it because you tell yourself the same story over and over and over again. And for example, with me and working out and health, I believe like, I can't get the physique that I want because of my genetics. And that's a story you keep telling yourself and feeding into that. And that affects your results. That affects your actions, because like Tom Bilyeu talks about, your results come from your beliefs and not your actions, because your actions comes from your beliefs. And so, yeah, people underestimate the power of beliefs. Like, I would take beliefs and confidence over like talent any day. Like, believing at something really just changes the external result massively. And so, yeah, I think that's it for this episode. Today's Wednesday, and I'm going to be posting 3 episodes a week for the future. Yeah, and so this was the Bus Ride episode, a quick one, and have a great day, and I'll see you soon.